Friends, we are starting a new book today. Starting a new book by Neil Gaiman, who is one of my favorite authors, and he said that his books could be read on the internet during this time where everybody has to stay home. So I thought it'd be fun to do one of his books. And this is one I've never read before. It's called Fortunately the Milk. So I'm very excited to start a new Neil Gaiman book with you today. Fortunately the Milk. We're borrowing it from our friend Carmen. Fortunately the Milk by Neil Gaiman. There was only orange juice in the fridge, nothing else that you could put on cereal, unless you think that ketchup or mayonnaise or pickle juice would be nice on your Tostios, which I do not, and neither did my little sister, although she has eaten some pretty weird things in her day, like mushrooms and chocolate. No milk, said my sister. Nope, I said, looking behind the jam in the fridge, just in case. None at all. We've got a little part at the bottom. It says she did not actually like eating them, the mushrooms and chocolate. And I had not actually told her that there were mushrooms inside the chocolate. It was an experiment. Ah, so he tricked her into eating that. Our mom had gone off to a conference. She was presenting a paper on lizards. Before she went, she reminded us of the important things that had to happen while she was away. My dad was reading the paper. I do not think he pays a lot of attention to the world while he is reading the paper. Did you hear me? Asked my mom, who was suspicious. What did I say? Do not forget to take the kids to orchestra practice on Saturday. It's violin on Wednesday night. You've frozen a dinner for each night you're away and labeled them. The spare house key is with the Nicholsons. The plumber will be here on Monday morning. And do not use or flush the upstairs toilet until he's been. Feed the goldfish. You love us, and you'll be back on Thursday, said my father. I think my mum was surprised. Yes, that's right, she said. She kissed us all. Then she said, oh, and we're almost out of milk. You'll need to pick some up. After she went away, my dad had a cup of tea. There was still some milk left. We defrosted meal number 1, but we made a bit of a mess of things, so we went to the Indian restaurant. Before we went to sleep, Dad made us mugs of hot chocolate to make up for the whole missing of Mum. That was last night. This toilet has a sign on it, keep out. Now Dad came in. Eat your cereal, he said. Remember, it's orchestra practice this afternoon. We can't eat our cereal, said my sister. I don't see why not, said my father. We've got plenty of cereal. There's Tostios and there's muesli. We have bowls, we have spoons. Spoons are excellent. Sort of like forks, only not as stabby. No milk, I said. No milk, said my sister. I watched my dad think about this. He looked like he was going to suggest that we have something for breakfast that you do not need milk for, like sausages. But then he looked like he remembered that without milk, he couldn't have his tea. He had his no tea face. You poor children, he said. I will walk down to the shop on the corner. I will get milk. Thank you, said my sister. Not the fat-free kind, I told him. That stuff tastes like water. Right, said my dad, not the fat-free kind. He went out. Poured some Toastioles into a bowl. I stared at them. I waited. Looks like they're waiting in the kitchen, waiting for Dad. How long has he been? Asked my sister. Ages, I said. I thought so, said my little sister. We drank some juice, some orange juice. My sister practiced her violin. I suggested that she stop playing her violin, and she did. My sister made faces at me. How long has it been now? She asked. Ages and ages, I told her. What happens if he never comes back? She asked. Suppose we eat the pickles, I said. You can't eat pickles for breakfast, said my sister. And I don't like pickles at any time. What if something awful has happened to him? Mom would blame us. I expect he just ran into one of his friends at the corner shop, I said, and they got talking and lost track of time. I ate a dry Toastio as an experiment. It was sort of okay, but not as good as in milk. There was a thump and a bang at the front door, and my father came in. Where have you been all this time? Asked my sister. Ah, said my father. Yes. Well, funny you should ask me that. You ran into someone you knew, I said, and you lost track of time. I bought the milk, said my father, and I did indeed say a brief hello to Mr. Ronson from over the road, who was buying a paper. I walked out of the corner shop and heard something odd that seemed to be coming from above me. It was a noise like this. Thum, thum. I looked up and saw a huge silver disc hovering in the air above Marshall Road. Hello, I said to myself, that's not something you see every day. And then something odd happened. That wasn't odd? I asked. Well, something odder, said my father. The odd thing was the beam of light that came out of the disc. A glittery, shimmery beam of light that was visible even in the daylight. And the next thing I knew, I was being sucked up into the disc. Fortunately, I had put the milk into my coat pocket. The deck of the disc was metal. It was as big as a playing field, or bigger. And that's where we'll end for today. We'll see what happens next time. Thanks for listening, friends.